Hey, live on Pat Soundbytes, keeping new music alive on the radio and on video. And man, am I blessed to have, well, this guy, I don't know. I can't do this Zoom thing anymore, Greg. I give up. He's a co-founder. He's a lead guitarist, a Grammy award-winning kick-ass Southern rock and roll, blues, country, you name it. These guys have been going on for over 35 plus years. I love this band. I'm talking the Kentucky Headhunters, and I'm talking, well, he's also a radio host too. We'll talk about that. He loves guitars. Yeah. Mr. Greg Martin. How are you, Greg?
I'm doing great, Pat. How are you?
I'm still can't get the smile off my face to get the opportunity to talk to you.
Well, it's been a while. It's been a while. We're kind of guessing it's been about 6 years, right? Something like that.
I met you guys up here at Great Brian's Backyard Barbecue, a little intimate, little great restaurant, a super host, him and his wife. And you guys tore the roof off, hanging out with you guys on your tour bus. I'll throw a picture up when I edit it and stuff. And I got great pictures of all you guys. I mean, I was right there. And we need you back. And I know you guys come in and out of New York. And I'm looking at your tour dates. You're up in really the border of New York, up in upstate. But we got to get you back down here. And all the dates, you go to KentuckyHeadhunters.net because these guys continue to rock.
Yes,
but
sir.
the crazy news is that you got a great new album out. That's a fact. Not only Greg, Pat, but Jack. That's a Fat Jack, and I got the cover right behind me.
And you do.
I'm waiting for mine to come from Amazon. I guess now they tell me it's coming tomorrow, but I was able to listen to all the tracks, and my goodness, even all you guys were singing on this great album.
Everybody else sings. I just kind of get on there and scream a little bit. That's a long story. I don't claim to be a singer. My aspirations to be a singer kind of went away back in the early 70s. I got lazy and I said, oh, you could sing pretty good, so you do it. So I don't have to learn lyrics, But that's what we did. This new album's very, very band oriented. It's eclectic. It represents a true band feeling. It's got a really good band vibe about it. It does.
It's very catchy. It doesn't take away from your roots of Southern rock, rock, a little blues, and even a bit of country. It's all, and that's all you guys have been for 35 years. You're not nothing, and it's just. Even the last song, "Let's All Get Together and Fight." I couldn't stop laughing. But that's you guys. If people follow you and know you guys and seen you live, you guys have a great sense of humor. You're so good to the fans out there. And all this, I fell in love with all the songs. I fell in love with. We're going to put on our rotation. How Could I? Susannah, Don't You Cry for Me, man. I love Susannah. That's a fact. Jack, your guitar riffs, Greg. I tell you. Man, you don't miss anything there, and
well, thanks, man.
It's all good. It's good to hear. I know Doug and Richard usually go back and forth, but it was good to hear Fred on a track. Cup of Tea there.
Yes, Cup of Tea, and also he did Cheap Tequila.
He did the Rick Dillinger, right? The Cheap Tequila.
Yeah, Rick Dillinger wrote Cheap Tequila. He recorded had that back in 73. It was 72, 73. It was on All American Boy, and Johnny Winter also recorded it as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, man, our roots, even though we grew up in the country, our roots are heavily entrenched in Johnny Winter, Montrose, the Allman Brothers, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Cream, Jimi Hendrix, and that stuff is just in our hearts and souls for sure. So Fred, that was Fred's idea to do that song. Originally, he wanted me to sing it. I went through it one time and I said, Fred, it's not in me to sing this. And you keep bringing this song up. You've been bringing it up for years. Why don't you do it? So he knocked it out, and it's good to have Fred singing. Yeah.
No, it was good. It's a good little diversity. Nothing wrong with a little diversity. I fell in love with your last album, On Safari, back in 2016. I played I Am the Hunter a million times my favorite. I mean, you just started off with the guitar and it takes off. I mean, I don't know why it was a number one that I've seen anything. I don't care about the charts too much, but that
Yeah,
song was
I don't
great.
know much about what's going on chart wise anymore, but thank you for playing it. That was a good song. Absolutely.
I mean, I hope you guys are playing it live, and because it kicks ass. It's definitely out there. But so why the 5 years, Greg? 6 years? You just taking some time off? When did you guys get a chance to write this? Was this during this whole COVID that you guys got together and said, "Hey, we're overdue to do something here, so let's start doing something."
Well, and you correct me if you've got a list in front of you, but On Safari was released, I believe, in 2016. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
And I believe it was the live album, Live at Ramblin' Man, was released in 2017 or 18. And I may be wrong about that. It could be 19. I don't know exactly the dates. I should have a list here in front of me. Why did it take 5 years to do a studio album? Well, as you know, we're a working band. We play a lot. We go on the road. We're getting older. And what happened in 2019, we worked a lot. We had a really full schedule. It was a normal year as we knew it. You know, every year since the Headhunters hit the road back in 89, that's what we did, man. We'd just get on the road. We'd go play, and then we would work on a new album or songs whenever we could. But we went through 2019 unscathed. Everything was fine. And we thought going into 2020, it was going to be another normal year. Although we started hearing about COVID and started hearing about the pandemic overseas, I didn't think a whole lot about it. You know, we went out early 2020, played 3 or 4 shows. And our last pre-pandemic show really was in February of 2020 at the Birchmere in Alexandria, Virginia. And we had 3 weeks off. Then tour season was going to start back up. We went home, and there again, we're hearing about COVID. Well, lo and behold, about a week later at home, we started getting messages that dates were falling out, dates were moving, that things were shutting down. And next thing you know, we're off. We're off. We ended up doing in 2020 about 9 shows, and I missed one in November of 2020 because I was diagnosed with COVID. It wasn't a bad case, but I had it supposedly, And we sent Chris Robertson. He went out to play in my place from Blackstone Cherry, which is family oriented. So I think our original plan was, we thought 2020 was going to be a normal year, and maybe towards the end of the year, when things start slowing down, we would all gather at the practice house a few times and say, hey, what songs do we have here? What can we look at recording? And I don't know, man. COVID just kept getting worse. By the time I got COVID, by the time I got through it, it was already getting into the Thanksgiving season. And we said, well, let's just reconvene on this early 2021 last year. And finally, we got in the studio in February of 2021, and no rehearsal, no pre-production. Everybody had kind of sent some ideas back and forth. Doug Phelps had written some songs. Richard had had 2 or 3 songs. Fred had some stuff. So we basically just got together in the studio, and people brought their ideas, and we would learn them on the spot. And the first day was kind of futile. We weren't firing all cylinders because our chops were down. We hadn't played together. We weren't as sharp as we normally are. And but lo and behold, after about the first day, we started knocking songs out. And finally, by March, we had everything cut, everything recorded, the overdubs done. Then we started into the mixing process, and then we had another label that was very interested in releasing the album, but something went down there, and that deal didn't happen. So we had to rethink things, and we ended up going through BF, Bob Frank's label and our label too. So it's kind of a joint. We got distribution through our label. So,
Gotcha.
we got it. It finally came out last October, and it's out now, thank God. But it was crawling out of the wreckage of 2020, so to speak. And last year wasn't so normal, really. I mean, it was better, but it wasn't normal. We toured, we were on the road. We didn't get to do meet and greets. Unfortunately, in September of last year, Fred had COVID. We had to take a week off, and then Fred had to stay behind for another extra week. We brought my stepson John in to play drums for about, I think, 4 shows, and it wasn't our normal year either. But we worked about 45 shows. The new album came out. We ended last year by doing the Grand Ole Opry for the first time.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. And it wasn't a bad year. This year should be okay as well, as far as I know.
Well, it's starting to go away. The numbers are starting to drop a little bit, Greg, and I you know what? I just missed the live shows, and I missed the meet and greets, and it was like, if anything, I got out of this whole COVID thing, and I didn't get COVID, but my wife and I, we just didn't feel right, but everything kept coming negative. I think everybody got a touch of this little flu thing, whatever you could call it. I think everybody, whether you knew it or not, I mean, we got on a cruise boat. We flew to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and people are talking about, you're crazy, COVID. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And we were able to go on a cruise and get back. And the minute we got back, we're like, oh man, ooh, that was close, because all the islands shut down. But we had a good time. I mean, we didn't realize anything. But my neighbor was quite ill, and they didn't know. They kept saying it's the flu, and they didn't know what it was about. But I guess what I'm getting at is I just missed the live shows. I missed live music. And I look back and I go, man, hanging out with, you guys, or ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons, and all the guys, it's like, boy, is that ever going to happen again? But I think it will. I think we finally are coming over the hill of that. And I think people are going back on. The dates are coming back, and the shows are coming back. But it's great to see you guys are doing well. I love the flow of the album. I love all the tracks. It's Gonna Be All Right starts it. How Could I? You talk about Chris and Ben and those great guys. And I saw that they were part of that track, a great track. Right. Watercolor in the Rain. I mean, all of it is just
good song, right?
So simple, but like I said, radio friendly, catchy. So I think the listeners are going to love it. Very good diversity all around. I mean, I think you guys hit it out of the park. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys live and playing a couple of the tracks.
Absolutely. Well, I do believe the Headhunters are, we do bring some good songs to the table. Going to Be All Right has a very positive message. Watercolors in the Rain, Richard wrote those lyrics, and along with W.L. Stone, who actually just passed away, but that's a very, very good song. Susannah was written in honor of Levon Helm. When Levon Helm died, not Richard, but Doug was doing his laundry. He heard about it, and it just affected him in a deep way. And he said he wrote that song right then, the outline of it. And that's a very good song. Cup of Tea is about Fred's little trip to England, our trip to England, which was interesting, we finally went over, I think, the first time in 2016. And I'm looking at a list. We Belong Together. That's a nice melodic soul type ballad. That was written by TJ Lyle and us, and that's really good. TJ is with the Georgia Thunderbolts. I'm not sure if you've heard those guys yet.
I'm trying to get an interview with those guys. I don't know where I found them, but I go, wow, who are these guys?
They're easy to, man, I can help you out on that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I can put you, well, Richard can help you on that. He works with those guys, so that's no problem at all. Don't worry about it. We'll set you up with I can give you Riley's email address or whatever.
Okay, great.
It's all doable, man.
That's a fact, Jack. Boy, if that's not I mean, take a step back, get the monkey off your. I'm a lyric guy. I close my eyes and I want to understand it or try to, even though the listener, you know, we interpret it what we think it is, maybe not what you guys wrote. But boy, you know, the world's got a crack and the train's getting off the track. I thought you guys are sending the message, boy, this world, what are we doing? I mean, we're in I thought that was maybe that was the idea behind it, like wake up. Like
it's very relevant. I mean, you know, there was 2020 was crazy. I mean, there's so many different levels, and last year was crazy too, but I thought things were calming down, but getting into 2022, what's going on around the world, I go, whoa, it's getting nuttier again, you know, and this song definitely paints a picture. And it's a Richard Young song. He sings it. He sells the song very well, and he feels it. And I love the music. It's very in your face. It's
absolutely. I wrote that in your face, right in your face.
It's got urgency to it. You know, it's got a message like, "Hey, what in the God's going on with you people?" You know, and I don't know, man. It's sometimes I look at Richard's songs. Even they're like little mini sermons, which is good. You know,
even your guitar riff, Greg, was like, man.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Well, Richard's really good that way. He'll bring the idea of a song and we'll jam on it. He'll let everybody interpret and make it a Headhunter song. That's the beautiful thing about Richard. Richard's a great writer. He always has been. He's always really worked at it hard. And but the song, you know, I've always, as I said, man, I've always looked at a lot of Richard songs as mini sermons, going back to Wishing Well. Some folks like to steal, Watercolors in the Rain. And, you know, just these songs, they got great little messages, you know, they really do.
I love Richard. You guys definitely, and let's all get together and fight is so, but it's so, I mean, we all can relate to it. It's like, okay, we got to go to somebody's house for Christmas. And it's like, who hasn't talked to who? Pass the salt, have a couple of drinks. And before you know it, you're no good. You're an asshole. You're this, you're that. But I love the lyrics. Grandma throws the first punch. You know, party turns to blow, family tradition. Everybody's got that Christmas black eye. Happy New Year. Yeah, we love you. You know, what do they say, Greg? What do they say? You can pick your family, but you can't pick you can pick your friend. You can pick your friend, but you can't pick your family. That's
exactly right. And that song has been around. Richard had the idea for that, I know, 3 or 4 years ago, because I know we were standing outside the studio 3 or 4 years ago. He said, I got an idea for a great Christmas song. And he was like, you know, and I said, and we kept trying to cut it, but we just never could get together in the studio. And we just decided last year, come on, let's do it, you know. And it's very much grounded in traditional country, as you can hear. It's almost like Ernest Tubb and the Texas Troubadours on acid.
Yeah, it was like a little grandma got run over by a reindeer, but look out, man.
People have said that. Yeah, people have said that. I believe that song, as the years go by, will be embraced by people, and we'll hear a lot of it. You know, it is a fun song. We played that live. We played it live last summer.
Oh, you know, my goodness.
Yeah, it always goes over. You know, there's some people when we play it out live, they look at you like, huh? But now, if you get down south, they know exactly. They go, "Oh yeah." They look at their family next to them. They probably get ready to fight right then. You know,
it doesn't have to be Christmas, right? It's whatever day. It's like you looked at me, you borrowed something, you didn't give it back to me, and the blows start coming. But it just shows your sense, the band's sense of humor. And how genuine, and how you're just like anybody else. Everybody's got their headaches, and Richard's able to express it in music. That is cool.
We take our silliness serious, you know, and we just saying, hey, any family get together is a a good time to fight. It don't have to be Christmas, don't have to be Easter. It can be any time.
There you go.
No, not that we want people to get together and hurt each other or anything
Right.
like that.
Any thoughts of doing videos for any of the tracks?
There's lyric videos. The
Okay.
funny thing, Pat, there's not, when we started as the Headhunters recording we did the first album in '89, the practice then was before the album came out or the first single that you would immediately go do a nice video, performance video or whatever. And, our first video was Walk Softly. Then we did Do Must Walker, then Oh Lonesome Me. They don't do that as much now. Now, basically what people do is they'll just put the song out there with a lyric video.
Okay.
So, but you're right. That song, that particular song would have been a great video. And there was talk about it, but labels are just not allowing the budget for that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And I don't know. I still don't know if videos are really there. Again, I don't watch. All I watch on TV are Westerns and Mannix and Monk and stuff like that. So I don't really watch the, CMT or GAC or whatever the channels are now.
Well,
so I don't know.
It's not too much of that. And I agree with you. And what we watch is all DIY, how to do it, fix your house, do this.
Oh, yeah,
do that.
sure.
But in today's world, which I'm catching up, here we are doing a Zoom. I never knew what the hell a Zoom was. I always did phoners. Hey, Greg's going to call you on the phone. We did the interview. We tape it. Yeah. And we live in this such a visual world anymore, Greg. It's like, somebody puts a video up of cooking, I don't know, making a hamburger on a grill and it goes viral. I don't even know, like what?
That's right.
There is a catch to it. Maybe more in the hip hop world of, Justin Bieber combed his hair the wrong way and there's a million people liking it. But I understand where you're coming from. And I certainly understand what the labels are going, a lot of money getting it. I laughed before we came on. I was looking at Oh Lonesome Me, that video, and you guys running around. It's a great video. It's so fun.
Yeah. That's back when we could still run around like that. We can't do that now, but I'll tell you what, it was hard back then. That video was shot in early 90, I guess. And, when those people are chasing us, you could see the look on our face. I think you could even see my mouth move. You could probably detect a foul word coming out of my mouth. And,
it was like the Beatles arrived in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's like chasing them and on the deck and in the show, but it's all good.
That was our Hogs Day night, not Hard Days night, but Hogs Day night. And we've been watching the Turtles about that time. We were watching the Beatles, and we thought, man, can we bring a bit of the 60s back to where we're at in the 90s? And, that's our roots. So, yeah, that was a fun video, man. We've done a lot of videos over the years. The last video we did that was kind of an official video was a Great Acoustics, which was off Dixie Lullabies. And that's been a while. I don't know if everybody has changed their practice or not. I'm not sure if people are doing videos like we used to back in the 90s or not. I don't know.
How did you start? Where did you find your love for music, Greg? Was it, watching the Beatles, or was your parents musically inclined? Where did you find the love to pick up the guitar and say, I want to do this? Was it, Hank Williams Sr. and Ernest Tubbs, or where did you find the love for music growing up?
Well, the way I look at it now, as I've gotten older, it was just in my DNA. It was a calling. It was just, everybody has a calling in life, whether they're going to be a mechanic, they're going to be a politician, if they're going to be a doctor or just whatever. Everybody has something that they were, I think, put on earth to do. And you're lucky when you do that, because then it's not a job. It's just a joy to do what you do. Sure, the traveling gets older, it gets hard. But when did I figure it out? When I was a kid, riding around in my dad's Plymouth, I remember hearing radio stations. My dad listened to country radio. I remember hearing Don Gibson, and I remember hearing Hank Williams on the radio, Ray Price and stuff like that on a little station out of Louisville called WTMT. And that was planting seeds. And my parents were, both sides of the family were musical. My mother's side, they grew up playing grassroots instruments such as, banjo, tenor banjos, acoustic guitars. And then on my dad's side, my Uncle Wade was a honky-tonk singer who wrote High Steppin' Daddy on Picking on Nashville. And he was a regional country artist that did real well out of Louisville. And he could have went to Nashville and done well. So it was there around me. My older brother, Gary, played music. He played rock and roll. And of course, as we went into the 60s, I remember listening to it. There was an old tabletop radio on the refrigerator in Louisville. And I remember my parents would listen to WTMT, the country station. And then my brother would have the rock station on, WAKY or WKLO. And I was getting bombarded from both sides. So, I mean, and then the Beatles in 64, that was another defining moment where I went, oh, wow. I didn't even know what to make of it. And then when I saw The Lovin' Spoonful in 1966, that was a huge light bulb moment. And then by 1968, I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I knew that it really, I went to see a band in Louisville called Elysian Field. And I just had this overwhelming feeling. I said, hey, this is it. I want to play rock and roll in a band. And I met Richard Young about 2 weeks later, and that was it.
Wow. Very cool story.
It was a little journey, and I've tried, there was when I got out of high school, there was a period I played music, but I didn't pursue it. And there was like a 1.5 year period where I worked in a factory, and I absolutely hated it. It just wasn't for me. And then by 77, I just quit everything, said, okay, I'm going into music. And there was some hard times, but it was some great times. It felt right, like I say, when you know what you're doing is what you're supposed to do, it's a joy. It's not a job. It's
exactly.
Not a job.
I see people, they hate their jobs, and I'm like, then leave. Fine. Do something that you love. It might not be the money. And if you're good at it and practice at it, well, then the money might come. But it's, you got to love what you do. I always loved music, and I tried on piano, and I really never put in the time. If I put in the time like anything else, it's going to happen. You're going to learn it and practice it. But I always loved radio. I love kind of this side of the, just going to the live shows and meet. It's all about the stories. Like you just explain, how you felt those. I always ask, how did you find the love? And, hanging out with Billy Gibbons, Billy telling me, you got to listen to the old blues. Go back to the old blues.
I know Gibbons. Yeah, he's pointed me in the right direction a few times. And one of the cats he turned me on to a few years ago was Jimmy Reed.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Reed and Jimmy Reed's sidekick, Eddie Taylor. And anytime you get around Billy Gibbons, and I think about it a lot.
Love Billy. We're talking about radio. You got Lowdown Hoedown for over 20. You're a radio guy in for over 20 years. What converted you into that, onto this side of the table?
Well, there again, I think it was planted many, many years ago. And I kind of touched on that earlier, and it actually touches on that. Even though it was planting the seeds to play music on the guitar, I was infatuated with radio. I can remember, like I say, in the late 50s, hearing these DJs on WTMT in my dad's car. And back then, all the DJs sounded about the same. They had the same voice. And I go, how can that guy be on 24 hours? I don't know what made me think that. But, and then when my brother was listening to WKLO, WAKY out of Louisville, I just loved radio. And at night, I loved taking the old AM radio, the old tube GE radio, and especially when we moved to Metcalfe County in 67, because at night you'd pick up stations out of Chicago, WCFL, WLS, WLAC out of Nashville, WOWO out of Fort Wayne. And sometimes you'd pick up radio out of New York if you're lucky, your big rock station up there. And so it was just planted in me years ago. When I lived in Louisville, like 65, I would walk downtown. I'd walk around 4th Street to the music stores and record stores, and WKLO had a showcase window, and I used to go watch the DJs do their thing. You know, I was infatuated. 2 turntables, cart machines. It just looked like, you know, the big mixing board. And I thought, how cool is that? You know, and I thought that'd be so much fun to do, but it took a lot of years to finally make that happen. I think in 1986, I started doing a little blues radio show at WLOC on Monday nights, and it was called Blue Monday. And that lasted just a few months because at that time I was working with a country artist by the name of Ronnie McDowell. And we were busier back then, and I just couldn't make the schedule work. And of course, the Headhunters' early career radio had a lot to do with it, because we did a live radio show at WLOC called The Chitlin Show. We played live on the radio twice a month. And we would bring guests in. We would bring in Ronnie McDowell, we'd bring in Jerry McFadden. We brought in Sylvia, and like Sylvia would come in and sing Patsy Cline songs, and people would be literally coming out of the tobacco patch or the cornfield up to the station to see what was going on at the radio station, you know. Because one night I had Ronnie McDowell singing Elvis stuff, and it sounds just like Elvis Presley. But all these things just kind of morphed in. In 97, I was asked to do a Southern rock show at a station in Campbellsville, Kentucky, WVLC, and I suggested that we take it more roots oriented, make it a blues show. We could touch on the Southern rock, we could touch on the blues rock, we could touch on soul music, we could touch on anything that had deep roots. And so in November of 97, I started doing the Lowdown Hoedown, and did that 2.5 years at WVLC. And then at that point, I was just talking and putting the shows together. I had an engineer. He decided he wanted to quit in early 2000. So I stopped doing the show up there in April of 2000. And about that time, I was asked to bring the show to Bowling Green, to WDNS, which is a classic rock station. And I've been there 20 years.
Wow, good for you.
Started there in November 2001, and we just celebrated 20 years back in November. And so really the Lowdown Hoedown's really been about 22.5 years, you know. But it all goes back to when I was a kid, just infatuated with radio, hearing those DJs, seeing DJs do their thing. And there was a great underground radio show out of Chicago called The Subterranean Circus, hosted by Ron Britton. And I would listen to that every Sunday night, and he would be playing music by Led Zeppelin, Iron Butterfly, Cream, Michael Bloomfield, Al Cooper, Mothers of Invention. And I was really infatuated with that as well. So the Hoedown is just basically taking what I learned from John R. at WLAC, from the local DJs here in Glasgow, Louisville, different places, and just making a little stew of my own, you know, a little radio stew, so to speak. And it's fun. It's fun.
It's great. It's fun. It's great. You can do whatever you want. I've been playing the hits forever, and I found my niche, Greg, in just playing new music. And a guy like Billy can't thank me enough. He's like, thank you so much. That's how I met Billy. He did a solo show, and I met him after the show. And I introduced myself. I just wanted a quick picture, and I kind of hooked up with his tour manager. And I said to him, "Hey, I'm in New York, I play your new music." And he takes off his sunglasses. He goes, "You do what?" I go, "I play new music. It's all I do. Anybody can play ZZ Top, but I play the new stuff, your stuff." So, when I come back to New York, you know how to hook up with me. You hook up with me, and he did.
What is his tour? What is his tour manager's name? I can't.
Well, Pablo is his tour manager forever. I love Pablo. And it's just always a fun time. I got to hang out with Billy over here in Connecticut at Foxwoods at the casino after a ZZ Top show. And we talk cars and we talk blues and we talk cooking and we talk I told him his next album has got to go to Muscle Shoals. You got to record your third album. He's like, I like that. You got to come down. We got to make some noise. I said, what am I going to play? This food? I don't, Billy. I know. I see you and you had Billy as a guest.
I've known Billy. I've known Billy since '92, and we haven't talked. I don't know the last time we talked here. I don't know, about 2 months ago. I emailed him something, and he called me. I mean, we got. I don't talk to him often, but he called out of the blue. Usually late at night he's up. He'll call you late at night. During the day, man, things are fast and furious for him. But we found out back in 1989, 1990 through a friend that he was actually giving away copies of Picking on Nashville.
Wow.
to friends. So we emailed him, or no, we didn't have email back then. I guess just sent a letter, and he called me one day here at the house. He put his secretary was Denise. She got on the line first, said, is this Greg Martin? I said, yeah, this is Denise Lameau. I'm Billy Gibbons' assistant. He wants to talk to you. And so we just hit it off, man, because we both love blues. We love Les Pauls. We love music, same stuff. I don't say much, but as you say, he's very personable, and he does exactly what he loves, and he loves what he does. He's living it, man. He's a great role model. Great role model.
He's all of that. I love him to death. And I got to see him. He played up here not too long after Dusty died. And I reached out to him and he said, meet me after the show. But the COVID thing was going on. And I said to Pablo, I don't want to be that guy. I mean, I'm vaccinated, all that, but send him my best. I'll catch up to him, because people, they run into somebody, you don't even know if you got it or not, and 5 minutes later the tour is shut down because somebody got it. Right. So,
well, no,
he got me great seats. I waved to him. He waved to me. I said, I'll catch up to you next time. Yeah. Be safe, and it's all good. It's good to see you playing with Buddy Guy the other night. There, I was. I got to watch that. I said, "Look,
is that a mess?"
Greg is all. I went to a couple of Buddy Guy shows. Boy, he's incredible.
Oh man, well that was an unexpected honor and pleasure. I know the drummer Tom Hambridge. I've worked with Tom before on a project with Arlen Roth called Slide Masters. And I had an email address on Tom where we communicated over the years. And I thought Tom was out playing on the road with Buddy. So I emailed him last Thursday. Said, are you on the road with Buddy? And we'd bought tickets, me and my family. We were just going to go enjoy the show because I'd never seen Buddy live. And he got back the next morning, said, yes, I'll be opening the show and I'll be playing with Buddy. And he said, I'll see you at the venue. And that was pretty much it. I saw him. He opened the show. Then he went to the merch table. And we didn't really say anything about jamming then. I bought one of his CDs. Matter of fact, where's it at? It's right here somewhere. Shit. Got one of his CDs. Oh, yeah. I got his brand new CD right here.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Of course, I've been listening to Buddy Guy, too. And we talked, and I said, listen, man, I really look forward to the show. And I walked over, a few hundred feet away from just a few feet away from the merch table, was talking to my family, and he walked over and said, would you be freaked out if we got you up to play? I said, no, I'd be fine. I didn't really come up here to aggravate you and to make me jammer. He said, I know that. He said, well, don't be disappointed if Buddy don't call you out, but sometimes he don't see people. But I like to see you and Buddy play together. And so he gave me a pass. He gave me a pass. I did have a pass here. I don't even know where. Somewhere. It's here somewhere. And he said, just come on, take this pass, show it to the usher. They'll get you back to the guitar tech. When I got back, the guitar tech handed me a guitar. We adjusted the strap. I just stood around with the guitar. And Buddy finally started saying, We got a young man here tonight that says he can play the blues, and we're going to bring him out and see if he can play the blues. I walked out. He looked at me and said, "You're not young. You're old, just like me." And the funny thing, Pat, there was some people out in the audience. They said they were out there saying, "David Crosby got up to play with," because this hat.
That is so funny.
Yeah, they thought, some people thought that I was David Crosby. So
my
nothing against David. I don't have a problem with David. I love David, But it was a thrill. It was a thrill, man. We've got, over the years, we got to do some great things. The Macy's Parade. We got the Headhunters have got to play with Johnny Johnson, do 2 albums with him. As you know, we did the Grand Ole Opry.
Grand Ole Opry, yeah.
First time, and it'll be airing on the Circle Network in April. And getting to play with Buddy Guy, getting to do, it's just been, life has been good. Life is up and down, but it's been a blessing to get to do. I get to play with my cousins, Richard and Fred, our dear brother, Doug. I love the guys I play with, and we're very lucky that we still get to do it,
Well, we're lucky that you guys are still rocking and rolling, and yeah, life is you got your ups and downs, but you just keep on trucking. I love the album. Go buy the album. That's a fact, Jack. It's a fact from me. It's a fact from Greg. You will not be disappointed. I wish I had mine in my hand. This thing kicks ass and takes names. I love all the tracks. We're gonna
long ways since this is the first thing that ever came out. This is the very first version of Picking on Nashville before the label picked it up. And so we've come a long ways. It's been a long journey. It's been a long journey since then.
You can catch Greg on his radio show on WDNS Radio in Bowling Green, Kentucky on Monday nights if he's not touring. I gotta check him out as well. And go check out the Headhunters on tour. Go to KentuckyHeadhunters.net for all the dates. These guys are going to make you laugh, make you dance, make you smile, and you're going to walk out having a great, great time. Greg, thank you so much for the opportunity. Great to see you again.
Great seeing you, man. And also on the radio show, if you want to hear it online, just go to WDNSFM.com or D93rocks.com. Monday nights from 7 to 10 Central Time. Y'all do the math. Your time would be 8 to 11. So check me out. It's a lot of fun, as you know it is. You do.
I do Sunday nights. Greg, you do listen to me on Sunday, listen to Greg on Monday.
That's right.
And he's got Billy Gibbons and Warren Haynes and Pete Frampton and Paul Rogers and oh my goodness. All these people that I met at one point. Paul Rogers saying happy birthday to me when I interviewed him. I'm like, the best birthday present I have. And then all of a sudden he sings happy birthday. And then I met him after the show. Greg, thank you so much. Send my best to Richard, Fred, and Doug. And we got to get you up here. We got to get you at Daryl's house, right in my backyard. Daryl Hall's house.
I met Daryl one time. He loves music. Have you met Daryl?
Yeah. We've had Henry Paul and the Outlaws here at Daryl's house.
Yeah.
We've had all kinds of bands here. So we got to get you guys over here to Daryl's house. That would be fun. And I know Brian.
Who books that?
It's called oh my goodness. Give me a minute, but let me wrap up here and I can get that information for you.
Yes.
Thank you, Greg. Have a great day. Be safe and well.